Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Speedrun Insider All Stars. My name is CJ. It's all good. Thank you so much for joining me this week, as you do every week. Thank you for all your support, all the things that you do to support the show, liking, downloading, sharing with your friends. Keep doing those things so we can keep the podcast free and clear and have the people on that we want to talk to. Speaking of the people that we have on that you want to hear from and that I want to talk to, we have a great guest. If you've already looked at the title, you can tell, you're cheating. I know, it's okay. We have back after a 5-month break. You wanted to see him. You wanted to hear from him again. He was one of the leaders in the Speedrun Insider All Star poll that we did. And so he is back. It is the donkey god himself in the flesh. How's it going, V0oid?
Yo. I'm doing good. How about you, gamer?
Oh, I can't complain, man. I would, but who'd listen? It's just like, it's another day, it's another dollar, it's another day above ground, all those pleasantries.
Living the dream.
Living one day at a time, another day in paradise.
Yep.
So I don't know how this fits into everything else we'll talk about today, but I had this crazy day. I had this really weird day. And it was like, it hit me that like I just like how little control you have over your own life, right? So I'm at work, I'm at my job, and my job is in marketing and advertising, which, I'm okay at. And I run my own department. It's that's my day job, right? It's what I do when I'm not doing this. But part of my job is that we don't have a local IT person. So I made the mistake of telling them that I'm a computer hobbyist in my free time, which I used to be. Now I'm not because I hate it. But I was like, I do like building computers. Like, that's great. You're our new local IT guy. I'm like, huh? So I fix printers. I fix, computers. The actual fixing stuff when it's actually broken is fun and rewarding. But most of the time, people call me and are like, hey, CJ, just letting you know it's not turning on, bro. And I'm like, is it plugged in? I didn't look. Can you look before I walk over there and tell me if it's plugged in? Oh, sure, bro. Oh, yeah, it's not plugged in. Right? The top 3 things that people call me and are like, CJ, you need to fix this. The computer's not plugged in. The phone isn't plugged in, and the printer's out of paper. The printer doesn't tell you it's out of paper, and I don't know why. It's one of these really high yield ones. So they just won't check the drawer. I'm like, it's right there. You sit in the room with it. I sit in a different building. You're gonna make me go over there and check the fucking paper. So I walk into work today, put my bag down, get settled, I go to the bathroom, come back. My boss is sitting in my office. CJ? And I was like, sir? And he said, how difficult would it be to put a computer down the street? And I was like, so there's a piece of property we rent down the street. I was like, there's no building over there. And he's like, right, no, yeah, well, it would be just put out in the lot. I'm like, you want to put a computer in the middle of a field? And he's like, yeah, how hard would that be? I'm sitting here like what is this request? You want me to put a computer in the middle of a field? Yeah, okay, whatever. Like this guy. And he's like, no, seriously, like, come on, I need a solution. I'm like, okay, get me a generator, a tent, and a wireless hotspot, and I'll put a computer in a field for you. And like he walked off, and I was like, yeah, okay, go get me that stuff, and I'll put a computer in a field for you. And literally, it's like a long field. It's like you can fit like, I don't know, 200 cars in there, right? It's like this field off of a main street. And so I go to lunch, I come back, and there was some of those crazy requests. They're like, how do we make this printer that only does A? We don't want it to do A, we want it to do F. It doesn't do that. Yeah, but what if it could? It can't. Okay. By the way, there's a generator in your office. I go back in my office, and I swear to God, there's a generator, a camping pop-up tent, a card table, and a wireless hotspot. I was so mad. I was so fucking mad. I was like, I was all right, fine. All right, this is the game. This is someone woke up today and chose violence. I said, that's okay. I had them load up the truck. I got in the passenger side and we rode on down the street to the other property. They unloaded the truck, and it's like the guys that work on the lot. And they come and I'm sitting in the truck, hard chilling. And I'm like, I'll come out and set the computer up. I'm not out here putting up a tent. Right? That's not what it is. So they turn on the generator and they come up to me, they knock on the window, and they're like, "You're just sitting in the truck. You're the one that's gonna take all the credit for this." And I said, "I'll tell you what, champ. You can take the credit for this if you three can figure out how to turn the computer on." About 15 minutes later, they came back. They couldn't figure out how to turn the computer on. So yeah, I went out there and I literally, in the middle of a grassy knoll in a field barren of anything else, we put a computer on a card table underneath a tent. It is hooked up to a generator, and I left. And people are like, "Well, what is it for?" I have no idea. What are you gonna do with it? Who fucking knows? Why did we do it? I still don't know. Right? But there is now a computer in the middle of a vagrant field. You're like, oh, surely it's like up against a building. No building, field. There's not even a gate with a lock. There's no cameras. I'm like betting on how long this thing's gonna be there. So that was my day. I did a completely pointless exercise, seemingly for no reason, although I'm sure at some juncture in my life, the purpose will be revealed to me. But that was my day. That's how little control I have over my own life. I'm a creme tup waiting to be stepped on by donkey.
That's a great day, honestly. It would have been honestly, it would have been a better day if you knew what you were like what are you working for, you know, like what are you fighting for, why are you putting this computer up in the middle of a field for?
I know. It boggles the mind, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm like sitting here like really like, and I really am not the kind of person that's like, oh, we can't do that. I'm not that kind of guy. It's like, okay, just tell me what you want me to do and I'll try and do it. We'll find some way to do it. No, this random request. I'm like, what do you
Yeah.
it's so ridiculous. There's no
And
power.
like at first when you were telling the story, I was like, did your boss like give you a I dare you kind of challenge, and like, he called your bluff on it? Like that's what I'm wondering.
I think he did.
Yeah.
I think he saw my eye roll and was like, "All right, I'm going to remind him who he works for," and then kind of made this. So I think I can't really explain what I think because I don't want to talk about what the inner workings of my job too much. But
Yeah.
what I actually think it's for is they're going to start keeping stuff down there and they need a way to check in inventory. But I'm like, we only work a block away. Like it's on the other side of the road, which makes it hard to get to. But
Mhm.
you can, if you were so inclined, you could like hit my job with an arrow. Like you could shoot and hit it. Is what I'm saying. Like it's not
Yeah.
that far away. It's just across the road, across a railroad track.
Yeah. I agree with you. It seems like pretty unsafe to just like leave a bunch of, you know, electronic stuff without like any like surveillance or anything right there. It's like no purpose so far, but it's there.
Yeah,
It's an investment, right?
it's it. What are we investing in? I swear, I'm like, some bum is gonna find this tent and is just gonna like throw the computer stuff out. There's a table, a chair in there. We have a bum camp ready to go.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean the homeless problem in my city, you know, there's no joking matter. But at the same time, it's like this is literally just shelter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was my incredibly that was my fun day.
Good story. I wish I had like as good of a story to start this podcast with, but honestly, my day was mostly just studying and doing homework, and then jumping in the hot tub as a reward after that.
Oh yeah, we ever gonna get the V0oid hot tub stream?
I promised the boys and the girls, I said, if we can unlock a new emote slot, I'll do a hot tub stream. Like, literally, I'm not kidding on that. Like, if I can unlock an emote slot, I will do a hot tub stream. But we got so close, yet so far, and now we're like even further from the goal than we were a couple months
Yeah.
ago. It is what it is. That's how the Twitch grind goes.
I guess I mean talk about that because I never really ask people too much about like I guess the Twitch grind. I know I was watching someone recently and they got like an agent. I'm not gonna say who it is, but they got like an agent recently, and the agent was like, all right, so you know this speedrun thing that you're doing, it's cool, but there's only so much that speedrunning will do for you, so I think you should join a GTA roleplay server. And I'm like, okay, do you want to do that? Is that something
Yeah.
that people
What
want you to do? Like,
what if they don't want to play GTA?
I know, but the guy was like so like invested in it. He was like, yeah, well, I guess I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna give it a try. I'm like, I guess so. So I mean, talk about that because this is like your main gig, right? Like,
Yeah, pretty much. I do agree with the advisor saying that spearing can only do so much unless like you really, I guess, strike gold and like you really have a like the community that you have keeps on growing and growing. But it's like it feels like so difficult nowadays to just like blow up with speedrunning and just with speedrunning, you know? Like
yeah,
I got lucky to get to where I'm at like a few years ago because like if I were to try and do the same thing nowadays, I don't know if I could.
yeah. I think about when I first started watching Twitch, there were so few streams that I thought looked really good, had like clear gameplay, and had like nice layouts and like a decent camera. And when you're first watching, that stuff is really important.
Yeah, because
Like,
it's the first impression, right? Like
yeah,
if you join a stream and like the mic sounds like garbage, the gameplay stutters and it's like super laggy, like 30 FPS, fucking bit rate,
yeah,
all jacked up, and it's like if you can't hardly tell what's on the screen half of the time, then like it's no good, man. It's no good. Like I'm not dissing on those kinds of streams, of course, but it's like it doesn't help the audience that is watching you to necessarily come back to another stream. It's like it's a nice bonus. It's like the icing on the cake, right? If your stream, like if you and your personality can attract an audience, like having a nice stream will like make it that much easier for your viewers to come back.
yeah, absolutely. And like that's such a great, and I have this on such a smaller scale, but it's such a great feeling when you see the same name that came up the day before come back the next day.
Yeah,
It's a good feeling. It's like, all right, I retained this person. This person wants to watch,
yeah,
you know?
hmm
And what I think is interesting, like you were talking about, you guys got so close at one point, and there's always like some crazy person pulls out their wallet and gifts like 20 subs,
yeah,
right? There's always that crazy oiler who's like, "Yar, there be the prize, me mateys," right? I don't know why they became an old timey sailor,
yeah.
but and we,
The pirate dug up the treasure chest.
We'll talk about pirates later too. But
Ah, yeah.
I was thinking about it and I'm like, you know, there is something to be said about like momentum. I remember
Mm-hmm.
when September was actually really good, right? Now
Yeah.
it's like 20% off, but when September was cracking, it was crack-a-lacking.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it, oh god.
But that was like the first iteration of September, right? Where they did 50% off subs,
Mm-hmm.
I think. Yeah. Now it's 20%. It's like I still think the deal, like this deal compared to like the deal from I think it was last year. I think it's still a better deal. Uh but yeah. Last year, like what was the deal last year? Do you remember?
I don't remember. I'm gonna Google it. Well, let me see.
Yeah.
Well, I think that part of the problem. I think the first part of the problem is that they did it the first year, and they probably lost some. They probably lost some money, right?
Yeah,
So then
yeah.
they said, "Okay, we want to do September, but we're only gonna do it if we get a partner to do it." So basically, we'll have a sponsor come in and pay for it, or maybe that
Mhm.
was the way they did it the first year. I don't remember that being part of the deal. So it's
Yeah,
like,
like I know Subway was in it at some point, but I don't remember if it was the first year or the second year. It was one of those. Probably the second year actually, because I remember like people could like subscribe with their Subway gift card or some shit like that.
yeah. So they did. So last year it was Capital One, and it was 20% off the first month on a new recurring 1 month subscription. They tried to like be like, oh, do save 30% off the 6 months or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That I thought was really stupid.
Yeah. So
That,
they,
but I think the worst thing was to gatekeep it so that only the new or the recurring subs could do it. Like it didn't work on
mhm.
the gift subs.
Yeah. So it looks like for the first 3 years, it was with Subway. I'm recanting on the fly. So I remember it was with Subway for the first 3 years, and it was 50% off of new tier one subscriptions on web browser only. It didn't work on mobile. Mobile Twitch is a real fucking scam. I don't know if you've ever used Twitch on your phone and like tried to use it, not just like watch it while you're going to bed or whatever.
My opinion on Twitch mobile is, not a very nice one. I hate Twitch mobile. I think
Go
it's
ahead.
garbage. I think it's garbage. I like compulsively try to avoid using, like, I have Twitch on my phone, but I like purposefully avoid using Twitch on my phone. Like every time I'm on Twitch, every time you see me on Twitch, like in a Twitch stream and
Hmm.
in chat, whatever, like I'm on desktop. I am never watching Twitch on my phone. I don't know how people do it. Honestly, the app is garbage. It sucks. It's so bad.
The app is garbage. Subs cost more,
Yeah,
and
that's
bits cost more.
that. I even mentioned that too. It's like subs are like what, like 20% more expensive on
Yeah.
mobile or some shit like that. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh, well, we gotta pay the app store. Bruh. Daddy Bezos jumps into a gold vault like Scrooge McDuck. Like, don't.
Daddy Bezos like goes to space for like his morning walk. Like who the fuck
Does.
cares?
It's so funny because he actually like kind of does now.
Yeah,
And I get it because I get this too. And I'm not somebody who's like, you can't make your money. I have a great example about this in a second. I'm not that guy that's like, don't make your money. But like, come on, man. Like, what do you do? You know who uses
yeah,
the phones? You're really hitting the people that can't afford, or too busy on the desktop. That's who you're hurting. And those people would probably support if it was a little cheaper.
yeah,
I mean, it's
absolutely.
20%. They're getting gouged.
Yeah, the bits too. Like it's already expensive enough to buy bits, and like they take an extra cut on bits too on mobile. Like, come on,
Mm-hmm.
man, come on, G. I'm already like pissed enough that they removed like the fact that you can farm bits from ads. Not
Mhm.
that I ever could do it because Canada, but like if I could have, I would have gotten mad rich. I would have made it rain on all those bitches with farm bits from ads. Like Robin Hood over here.
Yeah, fucking Robin V0oid over here. So, yeah, bits the bits through ads. I was never allowed to do it. I don't know why. I was never able to do it. But I
Where do
had a
you
friend.
live?
I live in New York, but I was never. It never let me do it. I
Yeah,
think
that's
it let me
weird.
do it one time.
Mm. Yeah, because like I kept hearing that you could only farm bits from ads in like certain parts of the US. It's like, okay, it only works in the US and it's only in certain parts of the US. So like, yeah, that was just so confusing and it
Mhm.
nonsensical at the same time. It's like, why not just make it like anybody can farm bits from ads? Like, I don't
Mhm.
understand.
Well, now nobody can. So
Yep.
we got our all or nothing ultimatum, and they said, okay, nobody can.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this. We never talk about topical stuff on the show. We never do. But I want to talk about this because it happened recently, and I want to get your thoughts on it. And because obviously, I think that the conversation these days is really heading towards speedrun.com bad, right? Like that's
Yeah.
if you would talk to anybody, that's what they're gonna say. But I want to just explain the situation for people. And maybe hopefully when we listen back to this in a while, it's not gonna sound ridiculous.
Yeah.
So
It's not gonna be outdated.
I hope not. I hope not.
Yeah.
So there was a game. It was the other day. Yes, okay. The other day, there was a game promoted on the front page of SRC, speedrun.com, and it was called Severed Steel. Now, it was a stream. It wasn't a speed run. It was a stream. It looked like by the developer. Um, and it was how do I say this? It was a game. It kind of looks like Super Hot. If Super Hot was more about like running around, but it has that like the mechanic of like slowing down time, and you have a gun. So it's like cyberpunky, like retro wave, Super Hot. You ever
Mhm.
played Super Hot?
Negative.
It's a game where every time that you move, time stops. Sorry, time moves, but when you stop, time stops. So it's
Okay.
imagine like trying to kill like a room full of red enemies. But as long as you don't move, you're like you can basically plan what you want to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it is what it is, right? It's not like the best thing. It's not the worst thing.
Mhm.
So, and it has a game. It's a promoted game on the games tab of SRC, and it had the stream where they're playing the game on the stream. Nobody has speedrun this game, but a few months ago, there was a guy, and he is the new community manager. I think his name is Meta Cam something Meta.
Mm.
Cam, right? So we'll call him Meta, just because I know
Yeah,
that's his name.
the name sounds familiar,
Yeah,
just from like glossing over the speedrun.com front page. Like I feel like I've seen his name around.
yeah. So I mean, and he's done lots of speedruns, right? He's done like Doom. He's done like some Call of Duty zombie stuff. I think he did Resident Evil Village when it came out. I don't know how well that he did with that, but he's done some speedruns, right?
Mhm.
So, and he, a few months before the game was promoted, wrote an article which could really only a reasonable person could read that article, and I don't think a reasonable person could conclude that this wasn't part of a promoted thing. Now, I say that because it reads like this guy wanted the game to sponsor the site. It just reads that way.
Mm.
And I've written articles before. I was a journalist before my
Yeah.
time as an advertiser.
I remember.
And
I remember you told me that last time we did a podcast.
yeah, it's part of my little speech in the beginning.
Yep, yep, yep.
So, like, I remember like this. I remember this part of the conversation, and I remember that's like, okay, this article is like very weird, and it got criticism at the time. And I think someone had made a tweet. I think it was like Amerlin on Twitter and was like, I mean, this is a very blatant advertisement for the game. And Meta said, no, I just really like the game. Haha. So that's fine. The game hasn't come out yet. Nobody has speedrun the game. No one speedrun the beta. Okay. So when the article came out, nobody speedrun the game. No one speedrun it when it was in beta form. It's about to come out. The board isn't open yet. People aren't going to be, they're not going to be accepting speedruns until the 24th of September, which is in a couple days from the day that we're recording this, but it'll be in the past, right? So all of that having been said, like, what the actual fuck? Like, nobody is speedrunning this game.
Yeah.
And the super mod for the board is meta.
Yeah. Logical.
Like, it's fine for me. I'm just gonna say, a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're getting your money, and I'm so mad about it." And I'm like, guys, it's a website. They have to make money, all right? Pac was doing this for whatever reason he was doing it, and y'all fucking hated it. People don't remember how much they hated SRC. I hated SRC. They don't remember how much they hated it.
I remember how much people hated SRC. I remember how much I hated SRC and how I still hate SRC, but for different reasons.
They remember for years they were like, we want private messages. And then he put it in and no one cares.
Yeah.
Who cares? Have you ever
it's funny.
used
You
private
have to tell
messages?
you have to tell me right there that there were private messages on Speedrun.com because I honestly forgot that was a thing.
It was a meme for so long that if you
no one uses them.
Yeah. It literally said for years, coming soon. It was like something that had been in development forever.
Yeah. See, but like that's one of the issues I had with Speedrun.com back in the day. It's like it had issues. The website had issues. People kept pointing out the issues. Pac did nothing over those issues. And then he kept claiming that Speedrun.com was his job. Like, I don't know. Like that, there has to be something else to it.
Someone explained to me the business model of SRC at the time. It was like 2 or 3 years ago. And I said, bruh, are you trying to tell me this man lives off the Google AdSense money?
Yeah.
Nah, no. Like he's getting the pennies. It's like, imagine if someone tried to pay you in rolls of pennies.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I don't believe that. Now they said that he did. And I was like, okay. So
see, that's what I'm saying. Like there has to be something else.
Yeah. So my whole thing about the article, the whole to go back to the promoted game thing. I don't care that they got this promoted game. Who gives a shit, right? It's like no one's gonna play it anyway. We are so used to ignoring ads. Trust me, I do advertising for a living. People ignore everything that you try to give them. They are so like desensitized to it.
Yeah.
They just know how to ignore it. They're annoyed by intrusive ads. People by nature want to buy things, but they don't want to be sold. Right? They don't want you to sell this to them. They want to buy it. So they want to find it on their own, right? Think about all of the popular things in the last 20 years. It's all stuff that's like, oh, I got to get me one of those. It's never like the aggressive campaign to buy this. Vis-a-vis, everybody played like, I don't know. Everybody played League of Legends. Nobody played Raid Shadow Legends. Right? It's the same relationship. But my problem is just fucking call it what it is.
Yeah.
Just call it a sponsorship. Why are you hiding it?
Yeah, has it officially been like a sponsor? Is it official?
In Meta's tweet to me, he said he wrote the article where the sponsorship was whatever. That is either the biggest coincidence or the dumbest lie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And coincidences do happen, so I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm not saying that coincidence isn't possible.
Yeah.
But you can't just be like, "Oh, I just like the game." Ha ha!
Yeah.
It's like,
what I'm saying here is that like he owns the website, and there's this game in beta, and he writes an extensive article on it. Like,
well,
yeah,
I don't. He definitely doesn't own the site, but he works for the company that owns the site.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
like,
it's
just a weird thing.
Yeah, it's definitely, like you said, a coincidence or a lie.
Yeah, and again, I don't even care if it's the truth. It's just like they have no goodwill to spend, right?
Yeah.
They have no goodwill to spend. Everything has like, remember that like month-long period where SRC was so slow, you had to log out to get it to work.
Yep.
And we heard literally nothing until the day that they went to fix it.
Yep.
Or how about the previous community manager, Lewis and Spark, Allison? Like that was not a good transition, and I wanted to have her on the podcast because I was very interested at the time, but I decided not to because she did a few other podcasts. But
okay.
I remember listening and being like, yeah, we're not trying to change anything. It's just going to happen. And then as unpopular things kind of came out, literally nothing, right? Like, and it's not like, hey, if your boss tells you can't say anything, you can't say anything. But at the same time, why give us a figurehead if you're just going to let us pelter?
Yeah.
Right?
The story repeats itself.
Yeah. Like, oh, well, she didn't say anything either. So it's like, okay, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to think? What are we supposed to say? This is our community liaison with the big faceless, nameless company, ELO, that took it over. Yep. So all of our ire just gets directed at her, which it doesn't deserve to be.
No.
Or
she's just the messenger. She's the scapegoat. Yeah. It's like, that's not her fault. It's just... Yeah, it's frustration from the users.
Yeah, and I think honestly, it's just like we want nothing more than have someone to talk to, and have some vague idea that is being heard in some way. Because I made a joke. It was like right after they put the articles up. Who by the way, who gives a fuck about the articles? They were so like the first few that they wrote were like, I was like, this isn't even written well. Like, this isn't even like, so they paid for this.
Yeah. So like, see the Speedrun.com articles, like that's another thing that like I didn't even know that it became a thing until I saw one at some point on the front page, and I was like, huh, interesting. But like, I still don't know like anything else about those articles. Like, I don't know at like what frequency they're written. I don't know like if like how many writers there are for the website. Like what kinds of topic are being brought up. Like, is it like what are you talking about in those articles? Like,
I'm literally not shitting you. I'm not kidding. I literally just refreshed. I would refresh the SRC page. Can you go to SRC right now and tell everyone what you see?
Well, hopefully the site won't be under a lot of pressure.
I can't believe the timing of this.
Oh, look at that! Severed Steel speedruns.
It's not even It's not even a speed run. It's they're I guess it's learning the run. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, Blade LMAO. I just think it's fun. I just like, what are the odds, right? We're literally talking about it.
Yeah, we're talking about a game that may or may not have sponsored the website, and all of a sudden, someone speedrunning the game or practicing the speedrun for the game is being featured on speedrun.com's main page. Hmm. Really
That
makes you think.
I swear that was not planned, ladies and gentlemen. That is
Yeah.
really funny. I remember when we were doing launch party in April, we put in the request for the marathon to be made in January, and they said, "Oh, I waited 8 weeks, like the site says." And I called them and was like, I messaged them and I got a hold of someone and was like, "Hey, like, what the fuck? Oh, marathons don't work right now. Oh, um,
Oh, you
are
mean
they
you wanted
getting?"
you wanted you wanted to have the marathon displayed on speedrun.com's main page?
No, I wanted to make the marathon page like it'd be like speedrun.com/ like launch party, right?
Oh yeah, okay.
The event page. So I wanted to
Mm.
have that, and I asked them to have it made, and they were like, "Oh, marathons don't work right now." And I'm like, "Oh, well, I put this in 8 weeks ago. Is there a timeline for them to be fixed?" No. Now I'm so glad that we have articles and ads, and I have to run like 3 ad blockers, right? I'm so
Yeah,
glad that we have this experience. But I'm so relieved that we have this, but we don't have a core functionality of the site.
yeah.
Like, and then I was so mad. Do you know when they actually made the event page for launch party? Like, what month of the year did they make it?
Probably like right after we got done with Speed Doxathon.
They made it in fucking May. I
Oh,
was like,
never
I
mind then.
was, I was like, in April we had the event, right? And then in May
I
they
thought you were
came.
talking about this iteration of
No,
Speed
no,
Dox.
yeah. So it was like, oh god, like why? And then they made the page, and I'm like, it ended
Yeah,
already. And so for SStat, I was like, this better have the fucking quickest turnaround ever. And it says 6 to 8 weeks right on it. I'm like, nobody's waiting 6 to 8 weeks. One, you can do it like instantly on a
yeah,
Wangus. And fucking like it got made the next
yeah,
day. I put it in at like 8 o'clock at night. It was made at 8
yeah.
a.m. Like, thank
Like
you.
honestly, like 6 to 8 weeks, like that's bullshit. Like Speedrun.com doesn't get that much traffic. Let's be honest.
Not
Let's
for
be honest.
marathons.
Yeah, like 6 to 8 weeks, like 6 to 8 hours. That would be more realistic.
To make the page. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
So we'll shift away from our little talk about speedrun.com. That was fun.
Okay, I guess I'll end that topic by saying speedrun.com can suck my donkey dick. And the people listening who know, you know.
All right. The opinions of V0oid, while potentially shared by the host of this show, V0oid does not speak on behalf of this show. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's also shared by other people. Let's just throw that out there as well.
V0oid speaks for everybody on the internet ever.
Sometimes.
Yeah, speaking of SStats, I swear to God, I can't believe it. But you were on the air when the goddamn host, the restream PC, took the big dirt nap during
Dude,
SStat
like
21.
that was like the perfect storm, honestly. It's like, okay, it's like past midnight, we're like maybe like 10, 15 minutes away from the end of the run. The restreamer is asleep, and his PC, like, what was it? Like, did his PC crash or did he lose power? Like, what happened?
So as far as I know, the guy, we were borrowing the NASA restream PC, and the guy was moving that weekend, and he was letting us use the computer, whatever. the power went out at his old apartment, and he couldn't get over there until like Tuesday. And so
Mm,
it was like, oh God, no,
yeah,
no.
that's
So
rough.
that's what happened. Yeah, like the guy, he wasn't asleep, but we messaged him and he's like, well, I'm not getting over there until Tuesday, so hopefully you figure something else out.
Yeah.
Apparently it was a really bad storm in like Toronto area.
Okay. Man. Yeah. But
So
yeah,
yeah,
I'm glad we were still able to like get it back together.
that was so, it was honestly bizarre.
What did you guys like do for like the rest of the marathon? Like, were you able to use like another restreamer's computer?
So we used our friend Dark Aries from NASA. We used his personal computer, but the problem is they had to remake everything. So we had to remake all the
Yeah,
stuff.
the
And
scenes and whatnot. Yeah,
yeah, and all the little things. So it was like Aries and Quo really, they pulled an all-nighter. But I remember we came back and we were using Grace's computer just to finish the night. And like there was no timer, there was no frills, there was nothing. We got no timer, we got no donation tracker. We're going back old school. Just the
yeah,
game.
yeah. What was written on the stream? Like, we tried, okay, or something like that.
we did our best.
We did our
Okay.
best, okay. Yeah, yeah. Please understand. Thank you.
I remember I knew it was all downhill when I jumped into another voice call to listen to what was going on, and Grace said, "Okay, and we're going to use Impact because Impact is the best font." And I was like, "Oh God, it's that bad."
Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't know what happened. I was hosting, and I'm just like, "All right, this is cool, cushy run, nice time. I don't got to do a lot, and then I
Yeah.
was tired too, and I was not trying to like be all stressed out about this all night.
Hmm.
So I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, and we're wrapping it up, and then all of a sudden, I look over, and my internet had been acting up that weekend, so I looked over, and I'm like, my internet's acting up, and I'm like, oh no, we're off the air. Oh,
Wow.
oh,
Yep. I had I had the restream on my other monitor as I was watching Blues run on I think it was Discord, so that I could follow the run live. And at some point, the restream died on my end, and I was like, oh, maybe it's just Twitch being Twitch. Let's refresh. Offline.
yeah,
All right. Well,
yeah.
I guess maybe the restream just crashed. Let's wait like maybe 30 or 45 seconds, and it's gonna come back up. And then yeah, you storm in, and you're like, we have a problem, gamers.
Dude, I was like, all right. I was hoping because OBS crashes. That does happen, right? I
Yeah.
was just hoping it was an OBS crash. No, it was not. The whole PC went down, and because I remember because we have a back channel comm, and so we have another voice app that we can connect to so that I can communicate with the other staff that are on,
Hmm.
and so that you guys don't hear it.
Yeah.
And I'm talking to Dale, who was the restreamer, and Dale, excuse me, and Dale goes, gamer, I think the PC crashed. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, I think it's the PC that's down. I'm not getting anything from the computer. And I was like, mother, because this happened the
Mm.
year before. And
Yeah.
it was right before Dale and Grace, the same two people that were going to be doing the Project Diva after that run.
Uh-huh.
It was the same people. The previous year, it died right around the same block, the same Miku block. So it was
Mm.
just really crazy. But everything, everyone banded together. We figured out a solution. It was cool. I just thought it was funny. Like you were there for two really interesting moments. I really liked the run that we did together.
Yeah, yeah, that was cool. It was like, a 4 hour long run where like I only commentated 10% of it.
I'm glad. I hope that you liked that because I
Oh
was
yeah,
like,
oh yeah. I mean that's what I asked for.
yeah, because I know with those long runs, like, especially with like the last run of the day, it's like, you're trying to get people, like, people are comfy
Yeah.
and you want to, people just aren't like up and doing their thing. They're chilling out. They're on the couch. They got their snack. They're just chilling. And I thought it was like kind of like a really fun way to end the first weekend. It was
Mhm.
a really chill time.
Yeah, we're talking with chat a lot. Like, I don't think your usual marathon run has a lot of that much interaction between like the runner and the host and the chat.
We were doing polls. I
We
mean,
we
yeah,
were doing polls. Yep.
yeah. I'm still team. I'm still team Cosmic Brownie. I think we did that during that run. It was Cosmic Brownie or Zebra Cakes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, Cosmic Brownie all the way.
Yeah, it's a good choice. You can't really go wrong
Yeah,
with
I
the.
told you about the fact that like, my parents never wanted to buy Cosmic Brownies over here
Yeah.
when I was a kid. Yeah, so I had no childhood essentially.
So matter of factly. I remember that when I got to middle school, there was the lunch line, but then there was the snack bar. So the snack bar had like, I don't want to call it like contraband, but it had extra foods that had like zero nutritional value that they
Mm.
would sell. And I remember they would stay for years. So there was a couple items in there, and you can like, give me your quick hit feelings on the items at the snack bar.
Okay, assuming I know them.
Yeah, they had they had the oatmeal creams, which are like,
Uh,
it's like two oatmeal cookies with raisins in them between like cream filling. It's kind of like an oatmeal Oreo.
okay, yeah. I can dig this. I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever had any, but yeah, I can dig that.
They had nachos, but before anyone gets excited, it was like regular like Tostitos like corn chips with the nuclear yellow cheese on it.
Oh, like
Yeah.
the Tostitos cheese, essentially, like the
Yeah,
nachos
it
cheese.
came out of a machine. It was kind
Mm,
of like hot and
okay.
gooey, but it
Yeah,
wasn't like nachos like you get nachos at the bar.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not that hot. Like I love nachos. Don't get me wrong, but like
Mhm.
the gooey cheese that you're describing and saying, talking about,
Yeah.
like that, pretty like low tier, honestly. And like I love cheese. I
Mm.
love nachos. I love cheese, but that gooey shit, like, pass.
They had little cans of spray cheese.
Spray cheese?
You never heard of spray cheese?
Uh,
So imagine a can like you get deodorant, right?
yeah.
But instead of deodorant, cheese comes out.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
People
Hang on.
people eat that?
Oh, it's disgusting. But hang on,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay, okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
It's called easy cheese.
Yeah, well,
It's very much not cheese. Here's a picture of someone eating 12 pounds of easy cheese.
all right, let's see. Yeah, this looks horrid.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah.
It comes out the consistency of like almost melted soft serve ice cream.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's not great.
Ugh.
The cosmic brownie was a staple at the snack bar. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
They had the best thing at the snack bar by far. They had hot pretzels. And
Ooh.
they were soft pretzels and they were not like the frozen kind. They actually made hot pretzels and then put them in a rotating thing.
Yeah, so it could stay warm.
Yeah, they had it in like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
heating thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, so I actually like large pretzels, right?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, well, they weren't like how you would go to Aunt Annie's, or like a pretzel time in the mall. It's not like
Right,
that
right, yeah.
size,
Hmm.
but it was a large pretzel for a seventh grader.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I can dig that too. Pretzels are pretty good.
And then I think the last thing that they had at the snack bar. Now, like there was a real lunch line. I don't want people to get the wrong idea. There was a real lunch line. In high school, they redid the whole cafeteria. Sorry, the last thing in the middle school cafeteria snack bar. They had chips and whatever. We're not going to get into that. They had pre-packaged microwave burritos, and they looked repugnant.
Yeah.
They would come out freeze dried, and they'd heat them up for you in a microwave.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
Yeah. So like, I would already have been on the fence about microwave burrito, but now you're putting them in a high school cafeteria context. Like this is a recipe for disaster, quite literally.
Oh yeah. Oh, hands down. You know how some gas stations have like the microwave that you can use?
Yeah.
It's like it's already kind of skeevy to get a microwave burrito and then make it in the gas station microwave. But letting like the people at the middle school cafeteria who don't give a flying F about your fucking burrito because they don't get paid enough to care about your fucking burrito. Like having them make it was not fun.
I can imagine.
Yeah. But then when in high school, they redid the whole cafeteria. There was a line that you could just go and get subs every day if you wanted. There was a sushi line, which they like did really nice.
Wait, you had a sushi line at your high school cafeteria?
Yeah. So there was the main lunch, which if you were on if you wanted the cheapest lunch or you wanted like whatever the lunch of the day was, or you were on financial aid or whatever, you could go in that line. They also had every day, they had hamburgers, cheeseburgers, chicken sandwiches. They weren't great, but they were fine. And,
serviceable food.
Yeah,
I mean, we're still talking high school cafeteria. So
it was better than what was there my freshman year. So in my sophomore year, they redid the whole thing. And then I remember they made it like kind of like a restaurant with like booths and like tables that actually didn't suck. And then they had a sub line, which was you would tell them what kind of sub you wanted, and they would make you the sub. Then they had it wasn't always sushi. They had sushi there sometimes, and it wasn't always open. And then there was one more line, which was just salad. So you could get you could make your own salad. It was actually not bad.
Your cafeteria was loaded. Like I compare with what I had. I remember in my high school cafeteria, it was like you either have the meal of the day or you have the spaghetti. Like the spaghetti was always available for like picky eaters, but it was like one of two choices, and then like you had maybe like whatever drink and whatever dessert you wanted, but like it was two options. Was the spaghetti or the meal of the day?
Ugh. I brown bagged it my whole freshman year because I was like, that food was I mean, I think they redid it and they had to spend so much money on it because they were like last in the state for like their cafeteria. Like their cafeteria was so bad that they were like, this is like inedible garbage. What are you doing to these children? And they got away with it for so long because they had a rule up until my freshman year, where if you were an upperclassman, so a sophomore in your final quarter or a junior or a senior, you were allowed to go off campus for lunch.
What kind of rule is that?
It was awesome. So it was like if you're upperclassman.
I mean, like, were they like preventing others from leaving the school to go out for lunch?
Yep, you couldn't do that.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
In hindsight, it was very ridiculous.
Yeah.
But then they made you wear like badges, and you couldn't go out unless you had your special pass, and it changed every quarter. right? And it was called your privilege card, and you had to literally check your privilege card at the gate. I'm not kidding. But there was like a Burger King down the road. There was a pizza place across the street. There was a bagel store. There was a great hot dog shop down the other way. But yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah.
They got rid of it because someone like, I don't know, fucked around on their lunch and got in trouble. And then when I was a junior, they were like, okay, juniors in their final semester or seniors in their final year can go off campus for lunch. And then I never went back to the cafeteria. Because even with how good all that food was that I described, it's literally still cafeteria food.
It's still cafeteria food, yeah.
It's
we are still dealing with cafeteria food over here.
Yeah, like, you know, like I know some people that ate the sushi, and I'm like, you have brave stomachs because holy fucking shit.
Yeah.
You know, like cafeteria sushi. Ugh.
You have to be a brave man.
There's braver men than me that have tried and failed.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, that was an interesting tangent that we went down. I wanted to ask you about
cafeteria food.
Yeah, like what the hell, right?
Yeah,
we could totally do our own podcast.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that what we're doing right now?
No, I mean, like, you know, we could do like our own show. You know?
Yeah, like isn't that what we're doing right now?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
There you go. You guys are listening to the pilot of that show.
Yeah. It's gonna be a new weekly show. It's gonna be Into the Void with CJ, right?
Yeah. Like real talk. I had thoughts of maybe doing a podcast at some point, but it's like English is not my first language, so I've always been like a little on the fence and like. Am I like comfortable enough with like talking about all kinds of different things? And like back then when I had the idea, I had never done a podcast before, and you were actually the one to like basically force me to dip my toes into the podcast pool because I'd always wanted to do it, but I never had an opportunity to try doing a podcast with someone. So thank you, Gamer, for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
but to answer your question, yeah, anytime.
Awesome.
Into the Void with CJ.
Hell yeah! So, hey, you heard it here, folks. You heard it here first, folks. So, it's funny. You said a lot in there. There was, first of all, I think your English is totally fine. And I hear that a lot, especially from people that French is their first language. French is your first language, right? I didn't just make that up.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So yeah, I'm like, I hear the accent. I didn't want to assume it could have been German for all I know. Sprechen Sie
well, you know, like, back in the day, a lot of people confused my accent with like, are you German? Are you Swedish? Are you Dutch? No, I'm just Quebecois. I'm just a poutine man.
It's like instead of Ocean Man, it's Poutine Man.
Yeah, Poutine Man. And it's funny because a lot of people tell me that it's only for like specific words that they can hear my accent, really. It's like other French Canadian people, like you would listen to some other like French Canadian streamers and you would like instantly be able to tell and recognize that they're French Canadian. Like Zelna, for example. Before I knew that Zelna was French Canadian, I had listened to him, like it was like way back in the day before like he was even using Facecam and mic. Like he was doing runs mostly muted for the most part. And the first time I heard him speak on stream, I was like, this man is a poutine man too. Let's go. So yeah, that's how I learned that Zelna was French Canadian.
Do you know you know Quo, right? You know Quo from
Yeah, I know Quo from Speed Doxathon. I've never met him. I don't really know him besides that. I know that he's good at Pokemon Snap.
He is good at Pokemon Snap. His first language is also French.
Is he also French Canadian?
Yeah, I think he lives in Ottawa.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Nice.
Because I heard him speak when we were setting up for like, I don't know if it was my run or Blue's run during the last Speed Oxathon, and I couldn't really hear his accent. So like if he actually is like a native French Canadian speaker, then yeah, I would have never been able to guess.
So I'm gonna tell everyone a deep dark story about my life, and that I'm from New York, right? The New York definitely gets dialed up because I'm also Italian from New York, and
Mm,
so the accent gets a little thick. I mean,
yeah.
people are like, ah, you said coffee. I'm like, yeah, what the hell what are you supposed to be? It's coffee, like coffee. I'm like, is that what I sound like? I'm like cough, right? It's like drawer. It's drawer. I'm like drawer, drawer.
Drawer, yeah.
Yeah, bedroom. They're like bedroom, right? So I get people all the time. It's like, oh, New Yorkers talk funny. So I remember when I was picking a language, because in my school you had to take language in middle school and high school. You
Hmm.
had to do seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, and 11th grade. You had to do 5 years of language to get your your high school diploma. It was required. You had to have 5 years of language. So I looked at everyone because everybody picked Spanish, but all the cute girls picked French. So I was like, there I go, there I go, there I go again. Right? The little sixth grade CJ is like, go where the cute girls are.
Yeah.
And so I took French. I took French for 5 years in high school, and then I took it for 2 years in college, or a year in college. So I've taken 6 years of French. I can read it and tell you what it says. I can cobble together a sentence to ask where the bathroom is, which is all you have to know.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
the one and only time that I spoke French, so when I went to college, they put me in an advanced French class, and I hadn't spoken French in 2 years, and I hadn't kept up with it. And so I go to this advanced French class, and there's 20 people in the class. I go the next week, there's 3.
Oof.
Everyone dropped it. I had to take it to pass. So they couldn't close the course because they tried to close the course. And I'm like, no, I have to take a French class to pass. This is the only French class that is offered. So you can't close it. So they didn't close it. And so the other kid spoke. I was like, oh, my French is a little fucking rusty. Excuse me. And then would speak beautiful, fluent French. It's like, oh, did I forget to mention I was raised in France? I'm like, you asshole. And then there
Wow.
was this lady who was like in her 40s. And she starts speaking, and I'm like, wait a minute. She's from fucking Haiti. So I took an advanced French class with a woman who's dedicated her life to speaking French as a hobby and as a career. Um, a person grew up in France and someone who grew up in Haiti. And I'm over here like, what the fuck? So the woman took pity on me and said, okay, I'm not going to let you fail. Just try your best to keep up. So she brought out a kid's book. It was literally a picture book, the first one. And she gives me this picture book, and it's called Le Petit Nicolas, and it's like, oh, he has a friend. So it's a story about Nicolas, right? And he's going to school with his friends, Dano and all the other fucking little weird French kids and their little fucking weird French names.
Yeah.
And his fucking Nicolas is like having fun. And then one day there's an American who comes to his school, and he's a new student. And his name is Joe. And the joke here, ladies and gentlemen, in the book is that there isn't a J. So imagine saying the word Joe in English, right? Joe. It's like a D sound before the J. It's like a J, right?
Mhm.
And in French, that sound really doesn't exist. And specifically in like formal French spoken in France, that sound is a sign of like slow children. So the kids are going up to him in the book and be like, "Oh, hey, Joe," like he's got a fucking stutter. I'm like, "Oh God, I'm Joe." The kids, everyone's making fun of me, and sure enough, when she made everyone, I'm in college. She made everyone read out of the picture book, and I'm reading the parts of Joe in his cobbled together French. I was like, God damn, this is like the worst time of my life. And then to pass the final, I had to do a written, which I passed, sort of. And then I had to do 80% of your grade was the spoken part at the end. And you didn't know what your prompt was going to be. So I get there and I got really lucky. I pulled prompts out of a fishbowl and I got, you're going to the football game. And I had to speak for about 10 minutes about the football game, which I'm like, oh, bro, even in another language, I can talk about football, right? Like, I got this. And then
Mhm.
she's like, no, the other kind of football. I'm like, nah, football American, bitch. I'm like,
Because football in France is soccer,
yeah.
but they refuse to call it soccer.
I was like, man, it's like I got the steak frites in my my chateau. You know, I'm on the bench. You know, I'm throwing out all my words. And then the second prompt, and it was there was 100 prompts in this bowl. The second prompt was I was gonna go to the party, but instead I watched football on television, and I was like, yes, this is my time to shine. I passed the final. I think I got like a B in that class. I don't care. I'm never coming back. I clicked my heels as I ran down the hallway. So
Hey, I mean, B is good. B is good.
you know, so I butchered the French language. I butchered the French language, and they were like, because the people in the class, you know, they speak French. They're like, you're speaking with a New York accent. I'm like, I live in New York, asshole.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, I don't have a Haitian accent.
Sorry for existing. Like,
Yeah. It's like, I'm not trying to be like jambone. I'm not trying to be like all ham up in your face, but this is what I got to work with.
yep.
You know?
That's how it's gonna be, man.
Yeah, it's like, I don't imagine going up to someone. Imagine like, and maybe you've had this experience, and I'm just like, I didn't think about this until I started to say this. But like people going up to you and being like, why do you speak with that accent? It's like, fuck you, dude. He's fucking speaking your language for you.
Yeah. Why do you speak all funny? Huh?
The way that you did that was such a great imitation of what those people sound like.
I know. Yeah. I mean that's because like I have those kinds of people like almost every day being like, "Hey, Void, when's Donkey? When are you gonna play Donkey? When are you gonna stream Donkey? Hey, when's 37?"
Dude. All right, so you
It never
stream
stops.
Donkey all the time, right? Like you like even when you're not streaming Donkey, it's not that long ago that you streamed Donkey. You did a week of Breath of the Wild, but last time that I checked before you did that, you played Donkey.
I was playing some Donkey 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's just like you know the most insulting thing too is that when I was like I did like 2 days of donkey runs 2 weeks ago. Like I was alternating between playing DKC 1 and Pokemon Stadium 2, and I think on one of those days where I was playing Donkey 1, there was someone in chat who was like, "This is not DKC 3, sad face."
It's not enough that you're playing Donkey. They want you to play a specific Donkey.
The amount of self-control it took me to not fucking yeet this motherfucker into oblivion. Like, I swear to God. Like, you gotta be kidding me. I'm playing Donkey, and it's still not enough for the crowd. People are so tough to please. You know, like who are the hardest people to please on Twitch? It's the people who don't subscribe to your channel, of course.
Yeah. No, that's it. You spend 80% of your time trying to appease, like, you know, the minority of the people, right? Because
Yeah.
the people that subscribe to you, like, they are just cool with just vibing, right?
Yeah.
They're just cool. They're just happy to
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah, or they like they want to support what you do, regardless of what you're doing. Like,
Yeah. They're there for you. As
Yeah.
opposed to, like, first of all, nobody's favorite Donkey game is 3.
I mean, I beg to differ.
Is that your favorite?
No, it's not. It's DKC2, of course.
Of course.
But I know a lot of people who have DKC3 as their favorites.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Those people, man. Are they okay?
Next
I think
question.
that game. So, like, the one thing that I go back to about like donkey games is that they're so like, if anyone tries to go back and play them, you guys make it look too easy. And like, all speedrunners kind of do, right? Because it's like movement you've done 100 times, 1,000 times.
Yeah.
You know when to do everything. I just have a hard time, and I did it on the Game Boy, and I have a hard time playing DKC1 on the SNES. I can't even get out of the first world some days. I'm like, oh man, I'm having a day. I gotta get some nanas, man. I need a nana slammer. Because
Banana Slammer.
I think the first time that we did a podcast, we spent a lot of time talking about other donkey games.
Yeah.
And it would have been way more rewarding if we just talked about like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, can we talk about Pirates of the Caribbean right now?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I remember I talked about it. Like, I talk about movies a lot on stream because I love movies. I don't watch enough movies, but if I could, I would watch a shit ton of movies. I love watching movies. And yeah, was it you? It must have been you. Yeah, it was during our the marathon run that we talked about Pirates of the Caribbean. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had this part where I hadn't thought about Pirates of the Caribbean in a while, and you had mentioned it, and I'm like, oh, he's like Jack Sparrow, and you're like, yeah, no, I love Pirates of the Caribbean. I was like, don't get me started. I was like, no, let's talk about it.
Yeah, no, please do, please start.
Yeah, please start.
Yeah.
So, this is and you can feel free to jump in at any time. Black Pearl is a really good standalone movie. Right? Like, it's really good. He gets the ship back at the end. It has all the cool like skeleton stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool.
Yep. There is a beginning, a middle, and an end to that movie. Yes.
100%. Because it's like the first movie in a trilogy always has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yes.
The second movie exists only to make the third movie. So nothing is going to get resolved. You're going to have a lot of questions that are not going to get answered. And the problem is that they always ask too many questions so that you get nothing. You end up with literally nothing by the end of it because you're like, well, wait, they didn't answer any of this stuff. Like, it's never wrapped up cleanly. You never feel satisfied. So the second one is Dead Man's Chest, which is the one with Davy Jones's heart in the box.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time that I see the heart in the box, I hear Heart-Shaped Box by Nirvana in my head, just like brooding Davy Jones with his claw hand, like just being like, oh yeah, I'm rocking out.
Does it work the other way around too? Like, whenever you listen to Heart-Shaped Box, you think of Pirates of the Caribbean?
I don't know if I have that strong of an association, but it's there. The connection is there. At World's End makes dick all sense. Especially the part where they're the lost souls in the rowboats. And like, what the hell? Like, what is going on there? And there's the whole thing with Bootstrap Bill, which is not interesting at all. And like, it's like, oh, this is my dad. I'm gonna be on the ship. It's like, and like, nothing good. Like, none of the cool stuff. And then it's like, oh, release the Kraken.
Yeah, but like they already did that in the second movie. That's the thing, right? Like,
they get engaged or whatever, and then they're like, "We got to go save Jack." I'm like, "Do we have to save Jack?" Yes, I guess so.
I guess.
What's the one where the Navy summons Davy Jones, and he goes, "You cannot summon me like some rabby cur," and he's like, "Apparently we can."
That was the third movie, actually.
That's my favorite scene in the third movie. All the stuff with Calypso, the 7 pieces of 8, the pirate lords, the Chinese pirates,
Sir, the 9 pieces of 8.
the 9 pieces of 8. I apologize.
Yeah.
That makes more sense than what I said, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, so the thing with At World's End, so like the second Pirates of the Caribbean movie, I think is pretty good. But the thing is, with the third movie, it's all about spectacle.
Yeah.
It really is all about spectacle. And you know why Game of Thrones sucked at the end? It's because everything became about spectacle.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah. Like, it's the same thing. Like Game of Thrones, the first 4 seasons, really good. Like everything from season 5 onwards is just a sinking ship. Like nice parallel that I drew right there with Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I agree. That was
talking about ships.
I like your parallel.
Yeah, thank you. I worked hard on it. But yeah, and then there are the other 2 Pirates of the Caribbean movies that we're not supposed to talk about.
They are the forbidden fruit.
Yeah, exactly. So like, At World's End is all about spectacle, but it's like a satisfying enough conclusion to a trilogy that didn't necessarily need to exist, but it enhances the second movie enough that I'll tolerate it.
It does make the second movie better. It does do
that. Yeah. And then, Pirates 4, bad. Pirates 5, awful, disgusting, repugnant.
Those fall into the category of not only do they not need to exist, they're standalone stories, but almost not like by design, because the 4th movie was On Stranger Tides, right? With Penelope Cruz and Blackbeard, where they're in like the Caribbean, like the actual Caribbean for once. And they're like, "Oh, we're gonna find the Fountain of Youth," and I'm like, "Okay." The whole concept of that movie is borked from day one. However, the one thing that movie does, and it does weirdly well, is just be like, "Oh, Jack has some human connection with Penelope," right? Somehow.
Yeah.
Right?
But that's the thing, like, they bring out this character from Jack's past, but like...
then they do nothing with her!
we don't know anything about her at the beginning of the movie, and we don't know anything about her at the end of the movie. Like, it's so unfortunate.
Yeah.
And like, it's what you said, like the plot of the movie was doomed from the beginning. It's like, hey, go grab those chalices, go grab this siren, put the 2 together, magic.
You want to talk about something that doesn't make sense at all? There's the pointy rocks in the 5th movie that trap the dude in there forever. Then he comes back as a half-dead guy, takes Barbossa, and is like, "Yo, you're gonna help me get Jack Sparrow." And then he's like, "Oh, right. And this lady that joins Jack randomly, that's me daughter. And I love her, and I'm going to tell her that..."
It's the same problem. It's like, oh, not now Barbossa has a daughter? Oh, okay.
Yeah, like, why? Why can't they just be pirates?
Yeah. Like, that movie is awful. Like, and another reason why that movie is awful is because, like, Barbossa is arguably one of the best characters in the franchise, and they just completely butcher him in that movie.
Yeah, no, awful. Totally awful. Totally awful. They have the whole movie laid out in front of them. It ends with the trident under the ocean with, like, Poseidon's trident. Like, what? This will break the curse on the people in the boat?
This breaks all the curses of the ocean, aka 2.
Yeah, exactly. It breaks 2 curses. And the
It breaks
reason
2 curses, the 2 curses that we have introduced. It's like, oh, okay.
And then the best part, my favorite part, is the reason this all happens is because the compass is mad at Jack. The magic compass is mad at Jack.
Yeah.
That's why it all happens. An inanimate object becomes mad at Jack Sparrow, and it frees from the depth of nowhere his his enemy, his first enemy. I'm like, okay, I guess he's back. I guess
something like that. But you know, that's actually a plot hole. Like the way Jack acquires the compass in that movie doesn't match the way he acquires the compass, like allegedly acquires the compass in the second movie. Because apparently, like he trades the compass for like something else from the black chick. I forgot her name, but you probably know who I'm talking. Yeah, like I guess it turns out she's Calypso, but like she goes by another name in the second movie. I don't remember, but yeah, like it's like Jack is supposed to have gotten the compass from her, but in the fifth movie he gets the compass from a random dude on the ship he's on.
Yeah.
Like try and connect that together for me, please. Like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Her name, by the way, was Tia Dalma.
Tia Dalma. Okay.
And she's the goddess Calypso bound in human form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like it. Like the whole reason you have Will Swan in the first movie and the princess lady or whatever is like, okay, listen, this is the love story. That's that part of it. Let Jack Sparrow be a pirate. Let him be a pirate. Let him do pirate things. Let there be big ships. Let there be cool battles. Let there be sword fights. Let there be crew. Let there be a monkey or a parrot or whatever. And then the second movie kind of still holds true to that. It's like, okay, we're going to let Jack Sparrow be a pirate. And then the third movie...
pirate things, yeah.
In the third movie, it's like, we need to go get Jack back.
So that he can do pirate things.
Yeah. Then the fourth movie, it's like, Jack, we need you to have a love life and a father. No.
Yeah.
Let him be a pirate.
Yeah.
Why is he a magic man all of a sudden?
That's the thing. In the fourth movie, he can't be a pirate. He's always like following someone else. Like, you know, he spends like, I think like 70% of the movie, like either with Penelope Cruz or with Ian McShane. It's like, what are you doing, Jack? Like, where are we going?
Where are we going?
Where are we going?
I totally forgot that Ian McShane was Blackbeard.
Yeah.
That's how forgettable it is, dude.
Yeah.
And he's awesome.
He is awesome. That was my exposure to Ian McShane. And now like I see Ian McShane everywhere and I'm like, yeah, this dude owns.
Yeah, absolutely. He was all right. There's a lot going on here. He was Tai Lung in Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah. I think I guess that's correct. Yeah.
He was the snow leopard that broke out.
Mm-hmm.
He was Captain Hook in Shrek the Third.
Oh, really?
My favorite was Al Swearingen in Deadwood. That's
who in Deadpool?
No, Deadwood. Sorry,
it's
a cowboy show.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that is.
It's really good. You should watch it.
All right.
It's like it's a little bit of you have to cut through the language a little bit because they talk like prospectors talked.
Right. You know, like I guess Western-ish accent, whatever that may be.
Yeah, it's like the really weird thing about like the Old West and those mining camps is like they weren't like doing anything. Like the whole idea is like they're taking from the land. They're like raping the earth. They're taking from the earth. They're not growing anything, these people, right? They're taking and they're destroying and then they move on to the next thing, right? They're looking for gold. So they set up these camps and these camps are the worst places in the world. Now, there are people that are educated, and those people are educated in like classic literature, right? Like Latin and Roman and Greek stuff, right? So there are educated people, but it's underscored by just constant, non-stop swearing all of the time. Like there's
Nice.
this, like in the first episode, there's a guy, his name is God, I forget his name. I wanted to say his name was, I'm not gonna say his name, but he's sitting at this bar and he's like, "Oh, it was like whatever. What do you want?" And I think his name is Ellis. And it's like, "I might have fucked my life worse than hammered shit, but I'm sitting here, a man beholden to no one, working a paying fucking gold claim." It's like, okay, the first time you hear that scene, it's a little thick, right? Well, there's a little bit to unpack there. I might have fucked my life up worse than hammered shit, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so
It's okay. So when you said it, I maybe understood like 60% of it through
yeah.
the accent.
And they also talk fast. So I
Yeah.
had a hard time. The first, like, it took a season for me to really understand how everyone like talked.
Uh-huh.
But then it's really good. Like that show was. It's a shame that it was canceled. When it was canceled.
Dang.
But they did a movie 10 years after the fact, and they're like, "Hey, we did a movie. It wraps everything up because we were canceled." And so check it out.
It's like consolation prize. It's like, hey, we got canceled, but have this movie as like a token of forgiveness.
Titus Welliver is in that show. If anyone likes that guy, he was in Bosch. He was the Man in Black and Lost, and he was
This guy,
Jimmy.
yeah, okay.
He was Jimmy in Sons of Anarchy, yeah.
Because I watched Lost forever ago.
Mm.
Never finished
He's
it.
a fun actor.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and of course, the Man in Black. We're talking about him in his man form, not as a cloud of black smoke.
Oh, for real? I could have never figured that out.
This dude, by the way, married and divorced 5 times. Oh God.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's a revolving door of marriage right there.
Yeah. People being too hasty on the marriage trigger, honestly.
A little bit, a little bit, but I'm not, I'm not one to judge.
Yeah. You're not rich and famous enough to get married 5 times.
And still have a life? No.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that if I got married because like the thing about it, like if the judge says you have to pay 120% of what you make, that's how much you have to pay. It doesn't really matter if that's impossible.
Yeah.
I've known people that are like, you have to pay this amount. It's like, this is more than I make. It's like, okay, well, you still have to pay this amount.
Yeah. So, like, I assume you know my good friend Demon Smalls, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. He's going through some child support adventures of his own right now. I think they might try to bring that in court. Him and his ex. I guess they never got married, but it's like it's still child support at the end of the day. But him and his ex girlfriend, yeah.
Well, it's definitely a hard situation,
Yeah.
It's also worse when kids are involved. Everything is worse when kids are involved, because the kids didn't do anything.
It's not the kid's fault. Like, you're trying to better your kid's life, but like the legal system just decides to bend you over and force you to take it. It's like,
yeah,
not very nice, man.
It's not very nice. No,
not very nice.
No, it's not very pogger.
Yeah.
Was there anything else I wanted? Oh, there is one last thing I wanted to mention before we start wrapping up. That we have a mutual acquaintance that I totally didn't know about until after we did the first episode where you were on.
Yeah?
Yeah, so one of the very first people to ever watch my stream ever, forever. He has a VIP in your chat.
Well,
Uh,
I,
you know,
I have a lot of VIPs in my chat.
I'm gonna tell you who it is. Don't worry.
Yeah. You're slow rolling it, but I
Yeah.
like it. I like being slow rolled.
His name is Shagalicious.
Oh,
So shout out to Shag. One of my very first viewers. He watched me play Mario Party speedruns for like 6 hours at a time.
wait. Mario Party speedruns 6 hour at a time.
Yeah, I I used to speedrun Mario Party 3, which Mario Party 3 all boards, if you don't know what you're doing, takes like 6 hours.
Yeah.
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 I want to
I know things about Mario Party 3 mostly from twitch.tv/IHUPie.
Mhm.
That's about all I know about Mario Party 3 though.
So, once we hit the listen everybody, once we hit the hot tub stream, the sub goal after that is going to be making sure that we get V0oid to do a Mario Party 3 speed run. Cuz everyone would love to see that.
Yeah, please please fire up that hot tub stream, gamers. It would really help me out.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what, I think it's the dumbest joke that people say, but I think it works every fucking time. Is people will be like, "Oh guys, I'm just 2 subs away from payout." And I'm like, "Oh god." And then sure enough, 2 people donate subs and then the guy goes, "Yeah, thanks. I'm 2 subs away from payout." Like
Yeah.
every time. Like it's just like and then people do it every time. People donate those 2 subs. It's really funny.
Yeah. Like people love watching milestones be obtained as long as the milestone is reachable. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's like if a milestone is within reach, they will more than likely go out of their way to make it happen. If they're not, they're like,
right, because they don't want to donate to something that doesn't happen. Right,
not today, I guess. Like, keep up the good work, gamer.
You get the little pat on the shoulder.
Yeah, exactly. Next payday, maybe next week. Who knows?
V0oid sitting here in his bathing suit, like is today the day?
Yeah, I'll be doing a 24-hour stream where it's just me sitting on a chair inside in my my swimsuit, and I'll be like, well, the hot tub is outside. We better get that milestone, otherwise I'm not hopping into the hot tub.
I'm telling you, that's a brilliant idea that you should 100% do. You just once you get close, you just stream yourself in the bathing suit, and you just wait. And you're just like, all right, gamers, I'm gonna sit here, vibing.
I'm gonna sit here until we get to the sub goal, and then I'm gonna hop into the
That would 1000% work. I think that's a brilliant idea.
How close would I have to be though?
Well, how close are you now?
Like 250.
Oh well, okay, so you're a little far. I think you have to be within 100.
Yeah. Like the closest I got was maybe like 70, like less than 70, maybe like closer to like 65.
That's doable. That's doable.
That is doable to do like something really gimmicky like that.
Yeah, but no, 250. Maybe if you got the GDQ raid.
Yeah, even then, it's like, okay, you get the GDQ raid, but like, there's no guarantee that the people who come from that's the thing. Like Barbarous King, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Barb, by the way. But like, Barb raised me often enough that like I'm like, one, very appreciative of it, and two, I see a lot of his regulars in my stream now. And it's not because you get 2,000 people raid or whatever that all of a sudden you're gonna start making bank. Like that's the thing. Some people on Twitch seem to think that like you have to win the raid lotto or like the host lotto, get hosted by like a big streamer or whatever, and then I'm set for life. I have an audience now.
If one of those people comes back, you should be thankful.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, at that point, I share enough of my viewers with Barb that it did its job. So yeah. Shouts to Barb.
Shout outs to Barb. Is there anything else that you wanted to say before we start wrapping up?
The more I think about doing this podcast idea, the more I think we should do it, gamer.
Hey, listen, I think it'd be a lot of fun. I mean, I don't know how we do it or when we do it, but I think we should do it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm trying to start growing my YouTube, so that could be something fun to put on YouTube.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
we could figure something out. So stay tuned for that, everybody.
Stay tuned for that. Yeah,
be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
All right.
Aside from that, is this the part where I'm supposed to, plug in my Twitch and tell the viewers to subscribe to the Speed Docs Patreon?
Hey, listen. We're gonna start there. We're gonna start with you can find my guests today on the show on Twitter.com. That's at V0oid V0oid. Also, shout out to Crunchy Brown, V0oid's biggest fan, as everyone knows.
Now subscribe to the channel. So
he's now officially got the subscription. He's good to go.
Yep.
You can find my guest today on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/V0oid, spelled the same way, V0oid. And you can find him on speedrun.com. That is speedrun.com/user/V0oid, spelled the same way, V0oid. And yeah, I think I plugged you. I think I plugged everything. Thank you so much for being on the show again. Thank you for being on All Stars. Thank you to everyone listening. We needed to have a regular show together.
That would be a lot of fun.
But that would be a lot of fun. So we'll have to work on the idea. Thank you everybody for listening. Thank you everyone for supporting the show every way that you do. And we'll be back next week with another episode of Speedrun Insider All Stars and a normal episode of Speedrun Insider this Friday. So don't miss that. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.
Rolling out.